What's up guys, in this video I'm going to teach you how to create a thread in Python. It is super easy, like Python is making things very easy. And yeah, let's start. So the first thing that we have to do is to import the library threading. So you just import this library and you and you can now create threads. So in order to create a thread, we need to create a function. So for example, we are going to use these two functions, but first we are going to just use this one. So yeah, this function is very simple. What it does is that it receives an ID and it receives a number, an n number. So it prints the ID, it prints who is executing this function, and it also prints the value of the number in each iteration. In each iteration, we add 1 to the value of the number. So if we execute this, you are going to see this in a better way. But first, in order to create a thread, we have to use the library threading, and we have to use the function thread. This function it returns a thread, but it doesn't start it. As you can see here, I have this t variable, which is the thread, but in order to start it, we have to use the function start. So yeah, we have to set a target, which is going to be the function print from n, and then we have to use we have to set the arguments that we are going to use. So for example, this first thread is going to be the thread number 1, and it's going to go from 0 to 10. This second one is the second thread, and it goes from 10 to 20, this from 20 to 30, and this from 30 to 40. As you saw before, like we can create the thread in this way, or we can simply put here a start. So if we now execute this, you see that, I didn't tell you, but each iteration it's executing in 1 second. So each second you have an iteration. And as you saw, let me execute this again. Each iteration, each thread is executing. And you can see that it's not in order. Like what I want to show you is like the threads don't execute in order. Like you are not going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 every time. No, like that may happen just at the beginning and not look 1, 2, 3, 4 because they are executed at the beginning, but the computer is the one who decides which thread goes first, and you cannot know which one will go first. So yeah, you can see that this is what happens, that it doesn't go on order, and yeah, they do what you say. You see that the thread 3 now is 26, then and so on. But you have to know that you can use global variables. And yeah, what we have seen is that, for example, if we create a function and we iterate, and in each iteration we add a value to that variable, it will be normal. But with threads is different because each one has a copy of the variable, not a copy, has the variable, has a reference to the variable. So you have to be careful with that and how you handle them. So let me show you this. If we now execute this, we are going to execute the second function. So as you saw, we have here the statement global. So this means that, hey, this variable is global and I want to modify it. So yeah, we are going to modify the global variable. If we now execute, we are going to see that, yeah, each one of the threads is adding the number. So it reads the number and it's adding the number. So if we were doing this with just only one thread, the value would go from 1 to 10. But as we are executing it with 4 threads, each one at some moment is modifying the value. So here you can see that, look, in the first iteration, the thread 1 added 1, the thread 2 added 2, the 3. But then the second one was the first who added, and then the value is 5. The third one is this, and so on. So you have to be careful with global variables and threads. You have to put some mechanism, which is a semaphore. Yeah, I think it's called semaphore. And yeah, that's the way you can do it. Like, for example, here, the function printed the 40 not in the last place. The 40 was printed here. So yeah, I hope you understood how to use global variables in Python. It's very, very easy. And yeah, that's it. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Don't forget to go and check my website in which I talk about trading and cryptocurrencies and all that stuff for a very cheap price.
Damn, Sosa. You going crazy.
Rest in peace, my pop, quédate tranquilo, 666. Estoy bajando todo, lo siento, te quedas en nada. Rest in peace, my